Every time a male consummates a marriage, a tattoo is branded on his lower abdomen. The more tattoos on his body, the more favored he is by his female master. But these 8 orcs, being the top existences in the galaxy, have bare skin. Turns out their female master is a useless waste with 0 mental power. Hence she lacks the ability to consummate with males. Little did they know that their strength made the woman feel ashamed. So relying on her identity as a princess, she tormented and abused her beast husbands day and night. And even today she called for the little mermaid, the 8th beast husband. Mermaid tears can turn into pearls. The woman made him cry 8 million of them. Or else he would be thrown out to feed the dogs. The little mermaid fainted 3 times from crying. And was kicked unconscious 3 more times by her, the woman. Watched all this and laughed with satisfaction. But died from overexcitement. When she opened her eyes again, the soul had already changed. Scarlet forced open her heavy eyelids. What met her eyes was a pitiful face. Tear droplets the size of beans rolled past the corners of the mouth. When they fell onto the dark red carpet, they turned into pink pearls. Her wrists and ankles were shackled, and the most terrifying thing was, the other end of the chains was held in her own hand. Scarlet was startled. Just as she was about to raise her hand to help her untie them, the next second, the door was kicked open. A man with extremely handsome features rushed in carrying a large blade. "Scarlet, I will kill you now." Scarlet was shocked. Before she could recover, a memory that didn't belong to her quickly rushed into her mind at that moment. She had transmigrated into an interstellar world where females were revered and males were inferior. Her original body was the imperial princess with the same name. But because of a rebel attack, she was swapped with someone else and spent 15 years in the slums until she was found and brought back, only to discover that the false princess Sophia, who had taken her place, was still high and mighty, being trained as the heir, because the original owner's mental power was only F level. While Sophia not only reached S level, but also awakened a SS level healing skill beyond her grade in the Interstellar Federation. Once a male's mental state collapses, he will fall into a berserk state. Only females can calm them down. Once an S-level mental power is released, it is enough to pacify the entire army. This is second only to the Empress. So everyone still respects Sophia as the princess. In the face of the true Princess Scarlet, they only maintain respect on the surface, their eyes showing coldness. This stark contrast turned the original owner from extreme inferiority into extreme arrogance. Whenever someone's expression or look was off, she would not ask why, and directly order them dragged down for 50 lashes after coming of age. The Empress personally selected 8 powerful beast husbands to be wedded to the original owner. But the original owner, due to her inferiority complex, subjected the beast husbands to extreme abuse every day. Scarlet was just about to hold her forehead and sigh. Just then, an electronic sound rang out. Congratulations to the host for successfully activating the interstellar heartthrob system. I am your lovely system, Guagua. The original owner of this body is a poor soul whose luck was stolen. The mall in space will be open for you later. The mall can exchange any items you need. Exchanging items requires love points. Love points can be obtained from the host's beast husbands or from other people's beast husbands. As long as any male develops love for you, you can obtain love points. I have sent you the subsequent plot regarding you, and also gave you an extra small gift. Work hard to change your own destiny. As soon as Guagua withdraws, time flow returns to normal. Scarlet opens her eyes. Oh no. That sharp big knife is only 1 centimeter from her forehead. The blade is covered with bright red flames. The flickering firelight burns her brow, almost exploding. She wants to escape, but her legs are weak from fear, cowering her neck, trembling on the bed, even forgetting to beg for mercy. When Scarlet wanted to cry but had no tears, a black shadow hurriedly arrives. Then a strong hand grabs her arm, yanks hard, and protects her in its embrace. Even so, the big knife falls. When it splits the extremely luxurious crystal ice bed in half, the shattered ice crystals still splash onto the back of Scarlet's hand. On the snow-white back of the hand, 3 bright red blood marks suddenly appeared. The crying little mermaid felt a sting on the back of her hand, paused for a moment, looked down, and saw blood. On the back of the hand of the man holding a large knife, 3 more blood marks also appeared. Same position and shape as Scarlet's. Same for Riley, who saved Scarlet. It turns out that females in the Interstellar are extremely precious. After marriage, they automatically form a life and death contract with their beast husbands. Once the female master is injured, the same wounds appear on the beast husband's body. If the female master dies, the beast husband will instantly drop dead. Time returns to the present. The beast husband named Riley helped up Scarlet, who had lost 3 souls and 7 spirits. Dark green eyes burst with cold light, looking at the man holding a big knife. Have you had enough, Aikano? Aikano gripped the knife in his hand. His sinister eyes swept over Scarlet's disheartened face, a thin smile curling on his lips. He lifted the little mermaid beside him and left without looking back. Your Highness, Aikano just returned from the lost continent and is in an unstable mood. I apologize to you on his behalf. If you want to punish, please punish me. As he said that, Riley knelt down on one knee. Scarlet came back to her senses. Looking at the scene, she felt a bit dizzy. Needed to wash her hair to calm down in an instant. The maids had arranged the bath. Dozens of maids, some scattering flowers, some giving massages, some preparing snacks. Throughout the whole process, bowing her head and serving carefully. Not daring to make a single mistake, Scarlet closes her eyes to rest. At the same time, she organized the messages and novel plot that Guagua sent her. After a while, she confirmed 2 things. First, currently, the time point is 1 month before the original owner's exile. Secondly, in order to live well, those 8 beast husbands are very important. The reason the original owner was exiled is because her malicious behavior of abusing the beast husbands was exposed. Her beast husbands come from various major families. They hold positions in various posts in the empire with excellent reputations. Therefore, the people held up signs and paraded, demanding the execution of this malicious princess. The forces behind the beast husbands are also in the same. At one point, the Privy Council, Cabinet, and Federation successively applied pressure, and the Empress, forced by circumstances, ordered the dissolution of Scarlet's marriage with the 8 beastmen, while exiling Scarlet to a remote mining planet to dig ore, and officially appointed Princess Sophia as the heir. Finally, Sophia ascended the throne while Scarlet died on the mining planet. Scarlet was lost in thought, when suddenly a soft call came by her ear. Your Highness. The maid Lilia knelt by the edge of the bath, holding a glass of freshly squeezed juice in her hands. Your Highness, the tiger penis wine has been steeped. Shall I send it now for Major Zico to taste? Scarlet took the juice, hesitated for a moment, then lifted her eyes to look at Lilia, facing her inquiry. Scarlet's brow slightly furrowed. Tiger penis wine, Major Zico. She remembered. Major Zico was the original owner's 3rd beast husband, his beast form being a tiger. So she asked, why give him that? Shape complementing shape. Lilia nodded. Her big round eyes as black as grapes were full of innocence, right? You ordered his tiger penis cut off and soaked in wine, saying after the wine is brewed, let him have a good taste to strengthen his body. Holy shit. Scarlet spat out all the juice she had in her mouth. She quickly put down the crystal glass in her hand and asked in a panic. He became a eunuch. Zico was no ordinary person. His family, the Noah family, is one of the oldest families in the Iran Rosa Empire, holding military power, controlling the border defense camp. And he is the only heir of the family. Their marriage is more like a political alliance compared to the other few beast husbands. If Zico becomes a eunuch, wouldn't that be the end? Scarlet's vision went black. She just wanted to faint. And Lilia didn't know what a eunuch meant. Tilting her head and curiously asked, Your Highness, what is a eunuch? Does cutting off a section of tail count as a eunuch? Then Perry is also a eunuch. Perry is one of Lilia's beast husbands, a lizard. Every year he has to break his tail once or twice to practice escape skills. Upon hearing this, Scarlet's closed eyes suddenly opened. Then she flipped through the original owner's memories. Damn. This world doesn't have tiger penis wine at all. It was the original owner who found an ancient book somewhere, saw the method for making tiger penis wine, and thought of using this method to torture Zico. But what she understood as penis was tail, not, thank goodness, not a capital offense. Then Scarlet ordered Lilia, throw away the tiger penis wine, throw it as far as possible. Then ordered people to take Jacom, Seville, Aikano, Riley to the treatment room for treatment. These were the original owner's beast husbands, years of accumulated torment, leaving them covered in wounds, not a single patch of good skin on their bodies. The Interstellar has a unique marriage system, protecting females from harm. The beast husbands, even if tortured to the point of being covered in wounds, dare not resist. But in their hearts they hate this vicious female to the extreme. When Scarlet loses the Empress's protection, they show their true colors, returning the sufferings of past years to Scarlet double. Think about that scene, scary huh? To avoid suffering in the future, she must quickly whitewash, go non-stop to do it. One night passes. Scarlet, with super adaptability, fully adapted to her new identity, she took a deep breath, tapped the white bracelet on her wrist. Immediately a semi-transparent light screen appeared in front of her. Inside there was all kinds of information about Scarlet. Scarlet opened her spouse information and started reading. No. 1 Beast husband Moting is a captain of the 16th Legion, beast form Black Panther. No. 2 Beast husband Riley is a member of Congress, beast form White Wolf. No. 3 Beast husband Jiko is a major of the 14th Legion, beast form White Tiger. No. 4 Beast husband Ikono is the captain of the Imperial 9th Light Guard, beast form Nine-Tailed Fox. No. 5 Beast husband Holtz is the commander of the 7th Fleet, beast form Pit Viper. No. 6 Beast husband Ashley is a researcher at level 403 Research Institute, beast form Elk. No. 7 Beast husband Brian is the prince of Cassinia Star, beast form White Crane. No. 8 Beast husband Seville is the prince of Alga Star, beast form Mermaid. Then she started thinking. After getting married, the original host lived in her own exclusive palace. Her beast husbands naturally all lived here with her. Beast husband No. 1 Moting and beast husband No. 5 Holtz are participating in military exercises. On other stars, they won't be back for 10 days. Beast husband No. 6 Ashley treats the research institute as home all year round. Only comes back 3 times a month. Beast husband No. 7 Brian has returned to the home planet. Didn't say when he'll be back. So now only Jiko, Riley, Ikono, and Seville are left. They happen to all be in the treatment room. Scarlet can visit them together in the afternoon. Scarlet ordered the maids to make a few plates of exquisite pastries to bring over. Pushing open the treatment room door, the treatment pods are lined up in a row. The 4 of them lie quietly in the treatment pods, eyes tightly shut. Scarlet sees that they show no signs of waking up. Picks up a piece of pastry and stuffs it into her mouth. Forget it. Wait until they wake up to come and curry favor. Now performing, no one is watching her. She is about to leave. The person in treatment pod No. 1 woke up, the main. The attending physician tactfully opened the pod door. Scarlet walked up with a smile, just about to call Jiko. Who knew that the other's amber pupils glared and rolled the next second? Scarlet manually closed the pod door, closed her eyes, understood. After all, his tail was broken in half, then immediately another beast husband woke up. The pod door continued to open for the love value. Scarlet pressed forward without discouragement. Who knew then she heard Ikono's eyelids should roll. Okay, totally okay. Ikono is a 9-tailed fox. Was forcibly pulled out to tails by the original owner to use as a bath towel. Having a bit of temper is also understandable, so she went to see the Little Mermaid again. And then heard that word. Rolling, 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 rolling. Oh, I understand, the Little Mermaid needs water. But the original owner kept the temperature in her room high and unrelenting. Without any moisture, the little fish person turned into a little dried fish. And had to cry every day, then. She went to see Riley, who had saved her before, but Riley was very polite. Didn't say anything, closed her eyes. Maintained a still appearance without any expression. Scarlet remembered. Riley was attacked last month and turned back into beast form. Princess Sophia risked her life to save her, and after the original owner found out, locked her in a cage, scolded her for not abiding by women's virtues, gave her no food or drink for 3 days and 3 nights, almost causing her death. Also understandable after going through all that. Love has always been zero. Scarlet curved her lips into a fake smile, trying to understand why she wanted to die over such a difficult-to-handle beast husband outside. There were 4 more. Scarlet paused for a moment, trying to convince herself, since you're here, take it easy. There's another way, but as for what way? She had to go back and think it over. Scarlet left the treatment room, accidentally bumping into Lelia, who was coming to find her. Your Highness, His Majesty summons you to the royal court. Scarlet's brow twitched, and she quickly asked, did he say what it's about? Lelia glanced at the people in the treatment room, lowering her voice and saying, it's said to be related to Councilman Riley. Indeed. The important plot point had arrived. Riley is the son of Duke Hell, elected as a member of Congress at the age of 20. Since taking office, he has been deeply loved by the people, the original master. Because of the last incident where Riley was saved by Sophia, has been holding a grudge and ordered people to put him under house arrest. His range of activities can only be within his own Hilda Palace. Now more than a month has passed. Senator Riley has not shown up for a long time. It sparked heated discussions on the Star Net. They suspect the vicious female Scarlet killed him. Countless conspiracy theories have been stirred up on the Star Net. Every hot post remains high. The matter has become too big. It tarnished the royal reputation. Scarlet was thus punished by the Empress. Confined in the royal court, the memory ends. Scarlet wiped the cold sweat from her horn, not daring to stay. Followed the servant who came to pick her up and boarded the royal family airship. Arriving early is better than late. First, gain a wave of impression points in an instant. Scarlet arrived at the royal court. This massive white building with an extremely vast and wide footprint was majestic and spectacular, magnificent and solemn. Even when viewed from afar, it exuded royal majesty. Scarlet followed the imperial guards to the main hall of the royal court. Empress Catherine sat upright at the top without makeup, without wearing elaborate attire. Yet her calm gaze constantly exuded authority, making it impossible to look directly at her. Scarlet dared even less to look directly at her, keeping her head lowered, and respectfully performed the ritual, saying, "Your child subject greets the Empress Mother." Scarlet met the Empress's scrutinizing gaze, feeling somewhat uneasy inside, afraid that she would realize she was not the original person. Fortunately, the Empress only glanced at her twice, then looked away to somewhere else. She began to speak. Sophia. Scarlet only then discovered that Sophia was also in the hall. Sophia wore a set of dark red military uniform. Her imposing aura that inspired awe without anger was sixth-sense similar to the Empress, even more like the Empress's biological daughter than Scarlet. The Empress's favoritism towards Sophia was blatant, even knowing that she was not her own biological daughter, and even had something to do with her own daughter ending up in the slums. Her love for her remained the same at an age barely 20. She was personally appointed by the Empress as the executive officer of the Skano Star Sector, responsible for military strategy and diplomatic affairs. No wonder the original host felt unbalanced. Wasn't this clearly telling everyone who the next heir of the empire was? If it were someone else, that would be one thing. But this person is the daughter of the brave man she saved when she fell into the slums. She finds it hard to forgive. Not waiting for Scarlet to continue thinking, Catherine, sitting high above, called her name. "Today I called you here. There is something to discuss with you." Some time ago, a plague occurred in Pallor City, causing countless deaths and injuries. What are your opinions? Empress Yajang occasionally also brings Scarlet. Perhaps she truly wants to advise her own daughter. But the self-abandoned original owner knows nothing about this and doesn't learn, often perfunctorily dealing with things. At this moment, Scarlet is still hesitating. Over there, Sophia first gave the answer. "Your Majesty, Pallor City is located at the border. Transport is blocked. Only trains can reach it. This is a good thing. Explain that the plague spreads not too fast. Your servant's humble opinion. Immediately seal the city, evacuate surrounding residents, only allow entry not exit. Then transfer medical personnel from neighboring cities for treatment, till all recover. Then lift the lockdown." Catherine's eyes narrowed slightly. Then she asked how to resolve supplies and medical equipment. Sophia then continued to give answers in an orderly manner. Hearing this, Catherine's closed eyelids slowly opened. A approving smile rose. This method is good. The next second, Catherine looked at Scarlet. "What about you, Scarlet?" The original owner didn't understand. Scarlet, who inherited the original owner's memory, also knew nothing. Her mind was dizzy the whole time. But she heard Sophia speaking eloquently, and the Empress also agreed. Naturally, she followed the lead and said, "Princess Sophia is absolutely right." Catherine had no hope for Scarlet, and was mentally prepared for her not being able to answer. But upon hearing this reply, Catherine's eyebrows furrowed with a faint trace of suspicion. She looked at Scarlet, her gaze filled with scrutiny. After a few seconds of silence, she turned to look at Sophia. "Sophia, handle this matter according to your method. I fully delegate it to you to handle." Withdraw. Sophia left. Only Scarlet remained in the center of the hall. Catherine once again fixed her gaze on Scarlet's face. Her brows furrowed and she asked in a deep voice, "Scarlet, do you know your mistake? Here it comes." "The Empress's judgment is coming," Scarlet timidly said. "I, your subject, know my mistake." Catherine was stunned for a moment. Scarlet's nature is dull, even if she is wrong. Also never admit fault so easily, always use sarcastic words, argue fiercely. Only when there's no argument left do they choose to restrain. Today so straightforward. Somewhat unexpected for Catherine. Catherine raised her eyebrow lightly, said indifferently, continued to ask, "Do you know where you were wrong?" Scarlet obediently nodded. "I know. I was wrong in not posting Riley's photo on the Starnet. Gave them the opportunity to fabricate stories about me, causing the royal family to be humiliated." Scarlet saw Catherine's serious expression soften. Continued to speak. "Mother Empress, I am petty. Don't like my beast husband having too much contact with other females." Saying this, Scarlet choked up a bit. "Princess Sophia, without my consent, privately comforted my beast husband. I, your subject, feel insulted. Should I not punish my own beast husband? A beast husband who has a female master cannot accept comfort from other females. This is an insult to the female master. Sophia knows this, and still comforts her beast husband in public. This is a humiliation for any female. Moreover, Scarlet is still the Empire's princess. Catherine heard this. The expression on her face was still indifferent. She glanced at Scarlet. Ignoring her slightly red eyes, she said coldly, Scarlet, you are only an F-grade female. You cannot comfort your beast husband if Sophia does not act. Riley will die. If it were before, the original owner, upon hearing this sentence, she will definitely turn around and leave with a dead heart. She is an F-level female, that's right. Then why does the high and mighty Empress, knowing full well that she cannot soothe, still betroth these high-level males to her? Is it to wait and see her become a laughingstock? The Scarlet before them, however, will not. She calmly and rationally argues her case. Your Majesty, that is incorrect. The place where Riley is injured is not far from the Imperial Court. The Royal Medical Institute is nearby, just a few steps away. The medicines of the Medical Institute are all developed by the Advanced Research Institute. Although not as good as a female's soothing power, they can still temporarily suppress a male's collapsing spiritual sea of consciousness. Absolutely no need for female soothing. Otherwise, how could the Empire's many males without a female master survive, don't you think so? Your Majesty, how dare you? Catherine slapped the jade dragon head on the throne with one palm. Once the SSS-level female's pressure erupts, it's enough to destroy the entire royal court. Catherine restrained most of her aura, but even so, she still broke the dragon head off the throne. The jade dragon head, symbol of royal majesty, rolled down the steps all the way, rolled to Scarlet's feet. When Scarlet saw it, her eyes widened, realizing too late that her last words were too sharp. They stabbed the Empress. Oh no, here comes another person hard to appease. There are still four at home not appeased yet. Scarlet shivered, cold sweat pouring, hesitating whether to kneel and beg for forgiveness. From above her head came the Empress's sharp interrogation. Scarlet, you are so jealous. Is it because you like your beast husband or hate your beast husband? This is a death question. The original owner answered hate. The beast husband who was confined was bestowed by the Empress. Hating them is equivalent to hating the Empress. This is a provocation to the absolute imperial power, if you say you like them. It also involves deceiving the Emperor. Scarlet, although she lives in her own mansion, is surrounded by the Empress's spies. Every word and action of hers is carried out under the Empress's nose. She cannot make any false moves. The original owner's usual behavior of abusing the beast husband is already a silent provocation. Now cannot aggravate the conflict. Must think of a slick statement. Scarlet thought left and right, knelt on the ground, and replied, originally didn't like it, now I like it. Catherine didn't speak, her eyes calm as she looked at her. Scarlet didn't raise her head, but also sensed the Empress's unfriendly gaze. She pursed her lips, decided to take a gamble, took a deep breath and said, Your Majesty, after marriage, I hated you. Didn't understand why you gave them to me. They were too powerful, so powerful that I detested them. Later, I gradually came to understand you did it for my own good. They are brave and skilled in battle, unparalleled in appearance and character, have achievements in various fields of the Empire. They are rare talents. It's because you pity that I am useless, so you used them to protect me. After I understood your good intentions, even more afraid that they would be taken away, so I locked them up, not letting others see them, only keeping them by my side. I detest them and also like them. I was wrong. Please forgive me, Mother Empress. The original owner's beast husbands came from various major families. If we lay out the relationships openly, they can all be seen as political marriages. The better the original owner's relationship with them, the closer the ties between the major families and the royal family. If Scarlet can turn back from the wrong path, perhaps she can resolve the current predicament. After Catherine finished listening to Scarlet's words, she did not speak immediately, sitting upright at the top, her eyes coldly searching Scarlet's body. After a long time, she narrowed her eyes and said softly, Scarlet, I, the Emperor, have entrusted the StarNet matter to you for handling. If you handle it poorly, do not blame me for being ruthless. Until leaving the Imperial Court, Scarlet finally breathed a sigh of relief. It's fine. She was not placed under house arrest. She looked up. Without any warning, she saw Sophia. Sophia stood in the sunlight, tall in stature with a straight back. The brim of her military cap covered the upper half of her face. Her taut jaw carried the innate arrogance of a princess. Sophia walked up to her, took off her military cap, bowed, and addressed her as Your Highness. As for Sophia's initiative to approach, Scarlet was not surprised. The original host hated Sophia. She had often put obstacles in her way, causing her trouble. But Sophia chose to ignore all these malicious acts. No matter the circumstances, still respect Scarlet as Her Highness. Perhaps it is because of the original owner. As a result, Scarlett also does not like Sophia very much. She smiled faintly, calmly accepted Sophia's greeting, turned to leave. Suddenly heard Sophia say, "Your Highness, if you don't like Riley, how about giving him to me?" The voice was very low. Only the two of them heard it. Although Sophia ignores the original owner's evil deeds, she likes to provoke with words when no one is around, making the original owner burn with anger and do even more endless evil. Sophia seems to know exactly where the original owner's pain points are, always hitting the mark. Scarlett increasingly suspects that Sophia is the one who stole the original owner's luck. She raised an eyebrow, looked at Sophia, raised her hand to turn on the light brain, switched to video recording function, aimed the camera at Sophia, deliberately amplified her voice and said, "What did you say? I didn't hear clearly just now." Sophia's eyebrows moved slightly. A faint smile curled at the corner of her mouth and she walked away without looking back. Half an hour later, returning to the Hilder Palace, a new task was added to Scarlett. Resolving the Star Network public opinion. This matter is not difficult. Just take a few videos of Riley still alive and upload them to the Star Network. The rumors will be dispelled by themselves. But this matter also implicated several other beast mates. The matter of vicious female Scarlett abusing beast mates has gradually taken shape in this matter. Later, as people dug deeper, more material emerged, countless evil deeds were exposed. It laid the foundation for the original host's fate of being exiled. Scarlett pondered for a moment, came up with a good idea. Could use public opinion to attack this group of beast husbands. In the evening, Scarlett sat upright at the head of the dining table. Before long, Riley, Icano, Jico, Seville entered the banquet in turn. Although they all wore deathly scowls, they were truly handsome. Scarlett felt she could eat several more bowls of rice. They sat close to the dining table, looking at Scarlett with indifferent expressions. Scarlett picked up the glass of water in front of her, took a sip, and said with a gentle smile, "Eat." But no one moved their chopsticks. After marriage, the original host did not allow the beast husbands to dine with her at the same table. The most common thing was to use a food bowl filled with cheap food and nutritional supplements, making them transform into beast forms and eat on the ground, thus humiliating their dignity. Have they ever eaten at a table once when the food cover was lifted? The food before them was their own kind, bloody kind. This time, they don't know what methods Scarlett has thought up to torture them. Staring at the silver food cover, the resistance in their hearts prevents them from moving. Scarlett, is playing like this fun for you? Either kill me or divorce me. I am your husband, not your toy. The little fishman Seville was the first to break down. He came full of joy for the marriage alliance in order to marry Scarlett. Also gave up his own prince identity. What was the result? What he got was Scarlett's harsh humiliation. If it were possible, he would wish to perish together with Scarlett. Facing Seville's hoarse shouts, Scarlett couldn't utter a single word to defend herself. But what happened cannot be changed. She will try to make up for it in the future. Since everyone doesn't like eating, let's announce the matter first. The next second, Scarlett picked up the silver fork, tapped the water glass, and pretended to be relaxed, saying, "Today, I went to the royal court and talked to the Empress Mother about you all. I know you all don't like me, even hate me. Behind my back you might even want to kill me." Scarlett swept across their faces. There was surprise, there was indifference, there was coldness, and there was calm as usual. After taking in all the changes, Scarlett continued, "So I told the Queen Mother that I want to divorce you all." Really? Seville heard the divorce. The whole person brightened up. He was going crazy wanting a divorce. But the interstellar marriage law stipulates that males are not qualified to apply for divorce. All matters of staying or leaving are decided by the female owner. He had begged Scarlett, but got double the torture in return. Scarlett looked at Seville and said firmly, "Of course," but in her heart she was thinking, "Fake, how could she divorce? Just a delaying tactic." The original owner's final outcome is firmly imprinted in her mind. If not divorced, she would only have 8 more enemies. If divorced, that would be handing a knife to the enemies. She was looking for a breakthrough to change their impression of her, making it easier to win them over. But the Empress said, "The interstellar marriage laws are quite strict. If you divorce, you will have to leave with nothing." Before Scarlett could finish speaking, Jico finally spoke up. "Fine. Money is an external thing to him. Freedom and dignity are more important." Then he continued, "The income for the next 50 years also belongs to me. And you can never marry another female for the rest of your life." Icano sneered, "Ridiculous, having been married to you once. Who still dares to marry a second time?" He never thought about marriage. If not for the Empress's arranged marriage and family pressure, He could gallop across the vast starry sky, and not remarrying would be even better. Then the family would have no reason to force him into marriage with other females. Seville couldn't wait. No need to think, I'll divorce now. Scarlett gave her a sideways glance. Don't interrupt me. Seville angrily pursed her lips. Her cheeks puffed up in anger. They all can. Why can't I? Scarlett reached out and pinched her cheek flesh. Smilingly said. They picked the soft persimmon to squeeze. Seville angrily stood up. Scarlett laughed heartily. All right, back to business. If you want a divorce, then listen to me finish. The Empress Mother gave me a 3-month cooling-off period for divorce. If after 3 months I still want a divorce, she will order the dissolution of our marriage. I've had enough fun this year. For the next 3 months, we will coexist peacefully. As soon as the 3 months are up, divorce immediately, of course, during these 3 months. You must cooperate with me to resolve the public opinion on the Starnet. Otherwise, I have the right to cancel the divorce application. Scarlett picked up the knife and fork, glanced at each, and said with authority, agree and eat. Disagree and go back to eat nutritional supplements and serve in bed tonight. The first sentence was no big deal to everyone. The latter sentence was simply terrifying. Without thinking, she lifted the food cover in front of her. The aroma of the food wafted out, enticing them to salivate. Their mouths watered. It was real food, not bloody companions. Seville couldn't believe her eyes. She thought there was a live fish skinned and gutted under the cover. She had forgotten when she last ate. This past year, Scarlett only gave her nutritional supplements. And the worst tasting kind. God knows how awful it was to take them every time. Seville was different from others. She had no job. She was also an alien, confined to the palace every day. Unable to communicate with the outside world, seeing food again, her eyes instantly reddened. And she took a big bite. It is true, the steaming hot food is very delicious. When a pearl fell into the dinner plate, the other three, as if sensing something, all looked at Scarlett at once. Scarlett also quickly waved her hand. This time it's not me who made her cry after finishing the meal. To show that she would no longer do evil, Scarlett rearranged the rooms for them. No longer having to sleep curled up in the dark and narrow basement, Seville's room had a huge swimming pool. The room's temperature and humidity could be adjusted on its own, no longer controlled by Scarlett. She was so excited that the corners of her eyes turned red, constantly dropping pearls. Without a word, she plunged into the swimming pool. Her beautiful silver fish tail then spread out in the water. Every scale glistens. Scarlett then realized that Seville's beast form was a full 3 meters long. The huge fish tail swayed underwater, stirring up constant ripples on the water surface. Fortunately, the swimming pool was big enough. Otherwise, Seville's tail wouldn't even be able to stretch out, and Seville became even more beautiful as a mermaid with red lips and white teeth, skin as translucent as jade. The azure eyes were as deep and captivating as the vast ocean. Then she continued to think. The rooms for the other three were a bit troublesome: a tiger, a white wolf, a 9-tailed fox. There were no notable preference characteristics. So Scarlett started from the food aspect. Place a few chickens in Riley's room. Jiko room, put a few chickens. Aikano room, put a few chickens. By the way, put those details in the environment as well, with mountains, water, forests. All pristine. Scarlett thinks this design they would like. Smilingly watching them enter the room for less than a second, she received 3 calls of gnashing teeth. Scarlett turned and ran, slipped away, ran back to her own palace. Full of joy, she opened the mall. Love value 0. Scarlett's face darkened. A bunch of stingy people. She has been so good to them. What's wrong with raising the love value a bit? After Scarlett left, her several beast husbands returned to the basement to pack luggage. After looking at each other, Seville closed his eyes. A pale blue light lit up between her pure white brows, and as psychic energy poured in, the light grew brighter and brighter, until it filled the entire basement. Seville opened her eyes. It's done. Her ability is absolute domain. Within the range of the domain, it is impervious to swords and guns, invulnerable to water and fire. It can block any surveillance equipment, including the chips embedded in their brains that connect to the optical computer. Do you believe what Scarlett said? Riley spoke first. A clear and handsome face with indescribable exhaustion, Aikano was silent for a few seconds. Then suddenly smiled. She is vicious, but she seems not to have deceived us. It seems you haven't shed enough of your tail, Jiko interjected coldly. Aikano immediately shot him a glare. Also better than you only having half a tail left. Jiko's extremely beautiful loving eyes are now wide open with a bit more ferocity. What? You want to fight? Riley's eyes narrowed and he swiftly stepped between the two. Now is not the time to fight. Seville's ability won't last long. Solve the problem first. Then should we trust Scarlet? Seville blinked, her eyes a bit uncertain. In her heart, she still leans towards believing. She likes the new room Scarlet arranged for her. And that huge swimming pool. Swimming in it is so comfortable. But seeing everyone's expressions, they don't seem to trust Scarlet much. She has no friends here. Can only rely on them if they don't believe, then she has no choice but to not believe either. The little mermaid pouted imperceptibly, silently praying in her heart. Hope everyone trusts Scarlet this once. She doesn't want to eat nutrition supplements and sleep in the sauna room after a long silence. Finally, Riley spoke. Let's trust her for now. After all, there's no situation worse than the current one. Then she looked at Zico. As for the public opinion on the Starnet, don't stop it. Since Scarlet is wary of this, we'll use this to control her. If she agrees to divorce after 3 months, we'll let her die a quick death if she goes back on her word. Whatever she did to us, we'll do back to her. Zico and Icano said in unison, okay. Seville weakly followed. The next morning, Scarlet sat in the all-glass roofed flower room enjoying breakfast. The dining table was placed in the center of the flower room, surrounded by a sea of fragrant flowers. Each petal carried water droplets, reflecting the golden sunlight, charming and moving. Scarlet wore a water-green waist-tied long dress, sitting among them, gazing at the azure sky outside the flower room at the same time. Her four-beast husbands happened to walk into the flower room. Lifting their heads, they saw a strikingly beautiful maiden in the sea of flowers, smiling sweetly. More delicate than the flowers, brighter than the sunlight, with a beauty that could not be looked directly at. Piercing their hearts, a crack opened in their deep eyes. A hint of different emotion burst forth, but quickly died away. Calmly walking to the dining table as usual, bowing to Scarlet. Scarlet checked the system's affection value, 0. The pose was for nothing. She turned off the optical brain's communication function, beckoned them to sit down and eat. Lilia outside the greenhouse saw the call end, nodded, instructed the servants to bring in the food. Everyone was very quiet during the meal. Only the occasional sound of knives and forks scraping against plates. Halfway through the meal, Scarlet suddenly spoke, Riley. Riley stopped his movements, looking at Scarlet with gentle eyes. But Scarlet, for some reason, always felt a chill all over. She shrugged off the goosebumps on her shoulders. Smiling, she said, I ordered someone to unlock the restraints on your light brain. You can now freely enter and leave Heldar Palace. Upon hearing this, Riley's thick eyelashes trembled slightly. Thank you, Your Highness. Zico, you as well. Scarlet turned to look at Zico. Zico is handsome. His pair of amber affectionate eyes seemed ready to speak of tenderness. He looks at even a dog with deep affection, very popular among females. Furthermore, noble girls often frequented his workplace. The original owner hardened her heart and imprisoned him as well. At this moment, Zico's face was expressionless, not even sparing a glance. Ignoring Scarlet, he ate seriously. Scarlet then looked at Icano. Icano's appearance is not as gentle as Riley's, nor as beautiful as Seville's, sharp and angular, very aggressive. Completely a model-like face, to be honest. Scarlet really likes his looks. But when she thinks of their first meeting, Icano holding a big knife and about to chop her, her heart feels cold and chilly. After glancing twice, she quickly shifts her gaze. Seville, you'll come out with me later. Seville is drinking sweet juice. Hearing Scarlet call her name, startled, she spits it all out. She only trusted Scarlet because of the swimming pool and the good food. When they are together, she is willing to stay in the same space as Scarlet. If being alone together, better forget it. She worried that Scarlet would play tricks. Scarlet curved her eyes, smiling like a flower, said softly, word by word, on the Starnet, they say I abuse you, not giving you food or clothes. I plan to take you to the mall, buy a few beautiful clothes. Saying this, the soft words began to show edge. If you don't go, it's fine. But I just ordered someone to burn all your old clothes. If you don't buy new clothes, you'll have to go naked. Scarlet quite liked the original host's villainous path. To conquer the beast husband, you don't necessarily have to unconditionally be good to them. Being too exaggeratedly good easily arouses suspicion. Alternating tension and relaxation makes it easier to control people's hearts. Seville's body stiffened. You couldn't speak for half a day. Scarlet smiled as she looked at her tense face, gradually showing helplessness. Her eyes looked at the other few people, receiving no feedback, then looked back at Scarlet. She raised her head as if facing death. Fine, I'll go. It's not like Scarlet could eat him at this moment. As a luxurious flying ship landed, countless interstellar reporters surrounded them with long guns and short cannons, flashlights flashing continuously. Scarlet, as the princess of the Empire, her every word and action was closely watched by interstellar reporters. especially now with the constant turmoil on the Star Network. Everyone wanted to take this opportunity to capture Scarlett's evil deeds and post them on the Star Network, gaining a wave of traffic and fame. At this moment, the reporters were discussing animatedly. Riley the counselor has not shown up for a whole month. I'm afraid it's more bad than good. I heard that a prince has already escaped back to the mother planet. He is gathering troops to lead an army to attack the Iran Rosa Empire. Oh my god. This wastes Scarlett. What a huge mess has she made. Is the Empress turning a blind eye? If you ask me, she should atone with her death. Quick, look, Scarlett is coming out. In the early morning, under the brilliant sunshine, Scar in a water-green fitted long dress, Princess Lee walked out from the Hilda Palace facing everyone's gaze. Her features were gorgeous, her beauty unmatched. Every smile and frown carried an indescribable special magic. Firmly attracting everyone's attention, she gave a slight smile. The light golden pupils were lively and playful, yet with a hint of just the right amount of detachment, making them elusive. Everyone present at the scene saw her appear, and simultaneously gasped in shock, as if they had been brutally punched in the head, leaving only a dazed sensation from the assault in their consciousness, unable to open their eyes for a long time. Although everyone hated Scarlett, there was no denying that Scarlett was beautiful. Her beauty surpassed the entire galaxy, unmatched by anyone. Detecting that males are developing affection for the host, love value increased by 20, 20, 22, and 20. Scarlett was so shocked she opened her mouth wide. This actually works. It seems collecting love values isn't that hard. It was that her group of animal husbands hadn't yet wised up. Everyone was dizzy for quite a while. Only then did they discover that there was a male of comparable appearance standing next to Scarlett. It was that mermaid prince from Algar Star. He was fine. Everyone quickly raised their cameras to capture this scene. The clicking sounds rose and fell one after another. The white flash made Seville's eyes ache repeatedly. He came from the bottom of the sea and didn't like things that were too bright. This would make his eyes uncomfortable. He turned sideways, wanting to dodge, but found that Scarlett had somehow taken his hand and wouldn't let him retreat. He looked at Scarlett. The corners of his bright red lips slightly lifted. His small pointed chin was smooth and pretty. Even the faint blush at the tip of the narrow eyes is so radiant, more dazzling than the sun. He was not surprised by these sudden camera flashes, but accepted them calmly. Seville belatedly realized something. The princess is on a trip. Usually there are butlers and maidservants clearing the way in advance. It's absolutely impossible for so many journalists to suddenly appear and disturb the princess. A large number of journalists appear here. The only possibility is that Scarlett is dealing with the public opinion on the Star Network. As long as they appear glamorously in front of the cameras, all rumors will collapse on their own. He said, how could Scarlett be so kind as to buy him clothes? It turns out she was using him. Seville knows Scarlett's malice and had no hope for her. But at this moment, he didn't know why his heart felt empty. He lowered his head and curled the corner of his mouth, wanting to pull back his hand held by Scarlett. As he moved, Scarlett also moved. Holding his hand tightly, his gaze shifted downward, falling on Scarlett's hand. Slender and delicate fingers, fair and smooth, intertwining with his fingertips. Extraordinarily intimate, as if they had always been like this. Seville's face flushed crimson, his heart pounding incessantly, feeling like it was about to jump out of his throat. He pressed his lips tight, not daring to open his mouth. In a muffled voice, he called out to Scarlett. Scarlett also felt it was about enough. Turning back with a smile, let's go. She led him onto the flying ship and the two sat side by side. Seville still remains in a blushing state, lowering his head, not daring to look at Scarlett. Strangely enough, ever since Scarlett came out of the greenhouse, he could always smell a faint fragrance on Scarlett, really fragrant, like tender leaves wet by morning rain. A refreshing fragrance mixed in the slightly cool chill. A single sniff. All the pores on his body were comfortably stretching, extremely comfortable. He twitched his nose, involuntarily approaching Scarlett. So fragrant, so fragrant. Scarlett turned her head. Seville's face was almost pressed against hers. She quickly used her hand to push against Seville's shoulder to stop him from approaching, shouting in a high-pitched voice, Seville, what are you doing? Strategy is strategy. Without an emotional foundation, you cannot proceed to the next step. Scarlett's voice immediately woke the slowly approaching Seville. Seville looked at the distance between them. Frightened, he kept retreating, flustered and at a loss. No, no, no. It's not like that. I just, after speaking for a long time, without a single complete sentence, instead made Scarlett feel mischievous, raising an eyebrow and giving a sinister smile. Were you thinking of kissing me just now? Seville's face instantly turned red. A moment ago it was pale with a hint of red. Now his whole face was like a boiled shrimp, hot and red. No, no way. How could I possibly want to kiss you? You are Scarlet after all. How could he want to kiss Scarlet? Scarlet whips him with a whip. Chains him with a chain. He hates Scarlet to death. How could he want to kiss her? He only gets close because the scent on Scarlet is very fragrant. Yes. It's just the scent. Seville found a breakthrough to refute. Immediately glared at Scarlet. The scent on you is very strange. Did you spray an aphrodisiac potion to lure me into rebellion? In this world, there are two ways for females to enhance their mental power. One is to go to the lost continent to fight monsters and level up. The second is after their beast husbands, females and males get married. The mental power between them becomes interconnected. But all this must be based on the male's voluntary basis. So in the dark web of the interstellar, there are illegally merchants selling this kind of aphrodisiac that can make males willingly submit. The potion is like perfume, just spray it on the body. It's hard to detect that Scarlet indeed has a special scent on her. What Guagua gave her, called ancient pheromones, has a special attraction to males, and can also calm their irritable mood. Guagua directly used it on her. She didn't even have a chance to refuse. But seeing how shy and bashful Seville looked just now, the effect was pretty good. Just not sure if it helps increase the love points. Scarlet squinted her eyes. Her smile grew more intense, seeing Seville with arms crossed, eyes wide with anger. Looking at her as if she were a flood or a ferocious beast, her playful mood arose. Rubbing her hands with a lewd expression. She approached him. Since you already know, I won't be polite. Today I'm going to take you right here and now to improve my mental power. On hearing this, Seville was indeed scared. Suddenly jumped up from his seat, ran to the hatch and frantically slapped it. Let me out. I want to go out. I'm not going shopping anymore. I want to go home. I want to find Riley. Save me. Scarlet is still very kind. Seeing the little fish man starting to drop little pearls, her heart softens. She hurriedly comforted, saying, Don't worry. I have this kind of good thing. Of course it's used on Holst. How could it be used on you? You think too highly of yourself, darling. Holst is Scarlet's strongest beast husband with SSS level mental power. And the Little Mermaid is only a level, indeed a bit of a waste of good stuff. Seville thought about it, suddenly understood, and immediately stopped crying. But his eyes still carried vigilance. He sniffled, sat in the farthest place from Scarlet, snorted coldly, turned his head away, eyes fixed on the window. But on the glass there was also Scarlet's reflection, tilting her head, propping her cheek. Her profile was soft and beautiful like a painting, her neck delicate and slender, noble and elegant like a swan. He closed his eyes, leaned back on the seat, struggling to recall the evil deeds Scarlet had committed against him. To resist the constantly rising palpitations in his heart, 10 minutes later, the flying ship landed on the roof of the Empire's largest shopping mall. Scarlet came to the Royal Shopping District. Dozens of half-orcs specially attended on left and right. Scarlet only needs one glance, and someone accurately brings her the things she has her eye on and places them before her, and begins to talk endlessly about their effects and features. If Scarlet wants to try the effect, no need to trouble yourself to go in person. The store has a dedicated 8D virtual character. Scan Scarlet's body shape once, and can immediately replicate an identical Scarlet. The appearance after dressing is immediately displayed. View from all angles what you look like wearing this outfit. Seville quietly leaned over. Scarlet, didn't you say you were going to buy me clothes? Why are you picking for yourself? Seville pointed at himself, blinking, hesitating to speak. Scarlet was immersed in shopping, didn't even lift an eyelid. You go pick. Put the ones you like at the front desk. I'll pay together later. It's settled. You pay. Seville excitedly raised the corners of his mouth. After confirming again and again that Scarlet would pay, he plunged into the clothing area. He was Scarlet's beast husband, not having Scarlet's treatment with fewer attendants, only 2 in total. He had to try on the clothes himself, but Seville didn't care. Male status is inherently inferior to female status. It's already rare to have someone serve you. Besides, he wants to take advantage of Scarlet's conscience awakening to buy a few more beautiful clothes. He hasn't bought new clothes for over a year. Seville grabbed over 100 pieces of clothing in one go and went to the fitting room. After quickly trying them on, he wanted all 100 pieces, walked out of the fitting room, glanced guiltily at Scarlet sitting in the lounge area, quietly and secretly took another 100 pieces to try on. Scarlet's shopping trip this time was similar to what Seville thought, letting the beast husbands show their faces to dispel those baseless rumors on the Starnet. Then go crazy shopping. Come on, she's a princess now, holding the little gold vault of 8 beast husbands. If I don't buy something, am I being fair to myself? That's right. After a female and a male get married, the assets under the male's name automatically transfer to the female's name. And the salary is also deposited into the female's account. The male's monthly living expenses are issued by the female, more or less depending on the female. Scarlett now has a few hundred million star coins on hand, which makes her a little rich woman. And her beast husbands are quite hardworking with a monthly salary of nearly 10 million. Even Brian and Seville, who don't have jobs. Their mother sends Scarlett a sum of money every month. Scarlett thinks back to the affection value she got when she first left the house. Want to see what she can buy with the 100+ affection points she just got. Opening the mall, her face turned dark. Not enough affection points, can't buy anything. Scarlett took another look at the space. It can be expanded. 100 affection points expands 1 cubic millimeter of a shady merchant. Even shadier than the last slash on pinned wood. But the planting space next to the storage space has opened up. There's a square piece of fertile land where plants can be grown. Scarlett looked at the introduction. Any plant has a 100% survival rate. This is a huge deal for the interstellar world. The soil conditions in interstellar space are extremely harsh, lacking nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium needed for plant growth. If you want to build a complete ecosystem, it is very difficult. The Iran Rosa Empire is so powerful. There are only 20 plant cultivation centers. Moreover, the plants cultivated are not as good as those naturally grown, with severe nutritional deficiencies, unable to meet human needs. What about this piece of land of hers? Can the plants grown here meet the requirements? Scarlett is very curious. Coincidentally, there is a flower room on the 158th floor of the shopping center. Let's go see if there are seeds for sale. After giving a few instructions to the beastman serving her, Scarlett left by light elevator. As soon as she left, Seville happened to come out of the fitting room. Seeing that there was no sign of Scarlett in the huge shopping area, his mind went blank. Stunned in place, holy shit, Scarlett did a runner. Seville completely panicked. He knew it, Scarlett was a liar. Talking about peaceful coexistence was all fake. She has no money, doesn't know the way. Even going back is difficult. Scarlett is going to abandon him, leave him to wander the streets and starve to death. Seville was both angry and anxious. Completely not noticing he was still holding clothes in his hand, he pulled hard, and only heard a tearing sound. The shirt worth 50,000 star coins split into in his hand. He lowered his head to look at the clothes in his hand. His expression changed from bewildered to terrified. The clothes are damaged and need to be paid for. What to do if he has no money on him? I didn't mean it. Sorry, I can compensate you. Wait, I'll contact my friend. Seville opens the optical brain to search contacts. He dials Riley's video call. Can you lend me some money? I damaged the clothes in the shopping center and I have no money to go home. Riley seems busy on the other side. Noisy sounds keep coming through. After a long while, she says, Scarlett isn't with you? Seville grinds his teeth impatiently, says angrily. She left me and went off on her own. Riley is not surprised by this. Laughs coldly. Then falls into a long silence. After a while says, I also have no money. After a male and female get married, their accounts will become joint accounts. But only the female has control rights. Scarlett never gives him living expenses. And he has no chance to save private money. Seville sighed gloomily, hung up the phone. Then opened Jico's video call, about to dial, when a clear and pleasant voice came from behind. Isn't this Scarlett's beast husband? Why are you alone here? Seville turned around and saw a girl in splendid attire standing behind him with very long hair. Her features gentle and serene. Her big round eyes like a pool of clear water, bright and spirited. Seville looked closely at the girl for a few moments. She seemed very familiar. But he couldn't remember where he had seen her and asked bewilderedly, Do you know me? The girl walked towards him. I'm Annie, Scarlett's cousin. Don't you remember me? We spoke at your wedding. When Annie said that, Seville remembered. He smiled and asked, Were you the bridesmaid that day? Annie was happy Seville still remembered her. Her willow leaf eyebrows raised. Her gaze searched around Seville and she asked curiously, Where's cousin? Isn't she with you? Seville pressed his lips together, not wanting anyone to know he had been abandoned by Scarlett. He forced a smile and said, She went to look at other things. Told me to wait here for her. Annie's curled eyelashes blinked, a hint of gloom flashed in her eyes. She just heard Seville's words. Scarlett abandoned him, this older female cousin of his. Really not knowing when one is well off. Such a good beast husband, how could she just abandon him like that? If only he were given to her. Annie's mother is the Empress's sister, enfeoffed as Prince of Seville. As the eldest daughter of the prince, she was also enfeoffed as a princess. Yet she has no right to be addressed as your highness. Her beast husband is also not as good as Scarlet's. She is both jealous and disgusted by Scarlet. She has always wanted to replace her. As for Sophia, she is not of royal blood. No matter how outstanding, she is not qualified to inherit the empire. She has never taken her seriously if what is said on the star net is all true. She can take this opportunity to take that group of beast husbands under her own name. They are all 1 in a million in the empire. Senior male sees that Scarlet is still F-grade and knows they haven't consummated. Annie made up her mind. A few more smiles appeared on her face. Her eyes softly landed on Seville's handsome face, just right. My cousin and I haven't seen each other for a long time. I miss her. I'll wait with you. Annie looked at the clothes in Seville's hand. This dress do you like? If you like, I can give it to you. As a welcome gift, you are my cousin's husband. So you are my brother-in-law. I give my brother-in-law a welcome gift. It is only right, Annie said. Her expression becoming more tender. Her body leaned a lot towards Seville. Brother-in-law, do you have anything else you want to buy? You can tell me together. I'll pay together. Seville has a lot he wants to buy. Everything is placed at the front desk. He finally managed to go out this once and doesn't want to return empty-handed. So he nodded sincerely and said, then I'll trouble you. Annie followed Seville to the front desk. Upon hearing the amount was 5 million star coins, she was instantly stunned, looking at the mountain of clothes, shoes, pants, and accessories. Her brows gradually furrowed. This Seville really isn't polite, asking for 5 million right off the bat. She doesn't even earn that much in a month. Annie was a bit angry, feeling that Seville was treating her like a fool. Her look at him immediately changed from happy to displeased. She was just about to think of an excuse to refuse when she heard Seville say honestly, don't worry, I won't ask you to pay. This sum of money, consider it as borrowed from me. Wait until I return to the Hildar Palace and ask the Mother Empress for money. Double pay you back, double, not impossible. Can also leave a good impression on Seville, not a loss. Annie fully revived. A shy smile, it's okay. I said it's a gift for you. She opened her optical brain, gently scanned the front desk. At the moment the transaction is successful, heart is bleeding at this time. Not far away, the light elevator door opens with a ding. A bright and beautiful girl holding flowers in her arms walks out. Seeing the two people smiling at each other at the front desk, she also smiles happily. Yo, am I late or early? Scarlet strolled around the flower room downstairs. Didn't find the flower seeds. Those flowers are the same as the flowers in the Hildar Palace. All are cultivated based on the latest technology, no seeds needed. Blooming all year round, but the half-orc who received her had a good attitude. Giving a feeling like a spring breeze, she casually bought a pot of sunflowers. Who knew that when she came back, she saw Seville talking to another girl. His curved eyes were exceptionally bright. Completely different from the attitude when dealing with herself, Scarlet was silent for a moment, originally not wanting to disturb. Turning her head to see the girl's appearance clearly before her brain could react. The words had already left her mouth, making it hard to leave. Princess Anne. The original owners are archenemy. The two of them are at odds in every aspect. Princess Anne looks down on the original owner who grew up in the slums, full of poverty and cheapness, unworthy of being an imperial princess. The original owner mocks Princess Anne for her weak abilities and poor morals. Inferior to Sophia in every way, yet still wants to replace her. Usurp the throne. In the original plot, Princess Anne had a strong career drive, but unfortunately her talent was insufficient. Her spiritual power level remained stuck at B grade, unable to break through. So she set her sights on the original owner's beast husbands, wanting to use their first time to break through her level. During Scarlet's down and out period, she did quite a lot of poaching, openly and secretly. As to whether she succeeded or not, Scarlet does not know, because she died. At this moment, when Seville hears Scarlet's voice, his first reaction is guilt. The hand holding the shopping bag suddenly clenched tightly. Scarlet does not allow them to have contact with females. Once she senses the scent of other females on them, she will go crazy and torment them twice as much. Seville stepped back a few steps, trying to cover up by widening the distance between her and Annie. Annie held the shopping receipt that still had a bit of warmth, silently rolled her eyes. This kid changes his face really fast. If it wasn't for his level mental strength, she wouldn't even want to bother. Annie suppressed her displeasure, turned to meet Scarlet's gaze, smiled with a forced grin. Cousin, you're here. Scarlet's status is noble. Even though Annie is her cousin, should also respectfully address her as your highness. Cousin, this title is overstepping. Scarlet can't be bothered to argue, copying her manner. She gave a forced smile and casually asked, what are you chatting about? So happily, Annie deliberately looked nervously at Seville. Her eyes flickering with guilt, she said timidly, "Nothing. I just saw brother-in-law here alone. I didn't know where you, cousin, had gone. So I kindly stayed to keep brother-in-law company, cousin, you know. This is the royal shopping district, only royalty can stay here. If brother-in-law is alone here, he will be chased away by them." Annie raised her head and blinked her eyes. "Cousin, you won't blame me, will you?" Without waiting for Scarlett's answer, she seemed to remember something and said nervously, "Cousin, don't blame your brother-in-law. I know you don't like your beast husband interacting with females, it's my fault. You want to blame, then blame me, stop punishing them. Besides, aside from being your beast husbands, they are also indispensable talents of the empire. Any harm done is a loss to the empire, cousin, as a princess. You must also think for the empire and the people," and said the last sentence especially loudly, afraid that people around wouldn't hear. Although the shopping mall is divided into several major areas, interstellar journalists have a high status. Holding a press card allows free entry and exit. This is a joint decision of the Empire and the Federation. The Star Network covers the entire interstellar space and is the only place where commoners, nobles, and royalty can communicate without barriers. Someone needs to speak up fairly inside. On the way here and saw several interstellar journalists. Scarlett's matter has become so big. She is certain that these reporters are lurking around, catching first-hand information. Annie's words are sincere, her tone gentle. At the emotional parts, the corners of her eyes even glistened with crystal tears. Heartache and pity intertwined, so understanding. Scarlett watched and was somewhat moved. But it didn't stop her from yawning and saying, "Well said. Next session of the Interstellar Peace Conference. I will definitely recommend to the Empress Mother that you represent the Oran Rosa Empire at it." Annie, how could she not understand the sarcasm in Scarlett's words? She kept smiling, her expression unchanged. "Then thank you, cousin, you're welcome, Scarlett." Scarlett glanced at the receipt in her hand, took it amiably. "If anyone should think, it's me thanking you. You bought so many things for us, it must have cost a lot of money. Does cousin have enough money, cousin, you too? Spending too lavishly. I heard that your several beast husbands were punished by the Empress for the Starfleet preparatory ceremony. Fined 3 years of navigation allowance, and also bear the responsibility of restructuring the Starfleet. It seems it requires 300 million star coins. They are contacting the family to raise money everywhere. How about you?" As she spoke, Scarlett covered her lips, her eyes full of pity for her cousin. "You are now in financial difficulty, living beyond your means. Yet you still spend so lavishly to honor your cousin. I feel undeserving. Next time you must not do this." Princess N's family was punished by His Majesty. Income sharply reduced. In debt everywhere. This was a trending topic on Starnet last week, and its popularity has dropped a lot. But it's still a thorn in Annie's heart. Annie's breath caught. Her rosy lips pressed into a thin white line. She said coldly, "Cousin, I'm living beyond my means. I can still afford the small amount of money, right?" Scarlett raised an eyebrow and smiled. Picking up the diamond necklace worth 500,000 star coins beside her, she tossed it in front of Annie. After throwing it, Annie, who only had 300,000 star coins left in her balance, was immediately speechless. But after being retorted by Scarlett like this, Annie was not discouraged. She quickly found a breakthrough. She smiled sweetly with a hint of venom in her eyes. But her tone was very gentle. "Cousin, in another month, it will be the Empire's annual planetary resource competition. You were absent last year. Will you participate this year?" The Orlan Rosa Empire governs 72 resource planets in the interstellar. Every year, a resource competition is held to motivate citizens to strive upward. The first place each year can obtain that resource planet. For 1 year of resource usage rights, these resources may be abundant, or barren, or rare, or indispensable. As for what specific resources, only on the day of the competition will it be known. The requirements of the competition are also very simple. Take the family as a unit. Members levels not lower than B grade is sufficient. Commoners, nobles, and royalty can all participate. Plus Annie said this to mock Scarlett for having a low level, not worthy of participating in the competition. Scarlett, however, turned her eyes. Had a new idea. She walked up to Annie, holding her shoulders. "Thank you for the reminder. I will definitely attend." Actually, during this time Scarlett has been thinking, if she can't conquer this group of beastly husbands, what should she do? Guo mentioned the affection value. From her perspective, the feedback rate is too low. Distant water can't quench immediate thirst. She cannot sit and wait for death. The only way is to constantly become stronger. The beastly husbands utterly detest her. They definitely won't offer themselves voluntarily. Then she can only go to the Lost Continent to level up. The Lost Continent is located at the edge of the Iran Rosa Empire, divided into 4 major sections, namely Misty Swamp, Jungle, Poisonous Miasma. Each section contains many mutated plants and animals. Killing them can obtain 2 types of crystals, Lingbai and Uepo. Lingbai enhances mental strength. Uepo is for enhancing ability levels, but females have conditions to enter the Lost Continent. At least 3 or more males are required to accompany. The lower the female's level, the higher the male's level must be, in order to achieve a balancing effect, fully ensuring the female's safety. Scarlet is F level, so the males accompanying her must be a level or above. It happens that her beast husbands are all suitable. This group of beast husbands have always had thoughts about the resource war. In the first year of marriage, they had mentioned it to the original owner, who decisively refused. This year, Scarlet decided to give them this opportunity. He can also use this opportunity to ask them to bring her into the Lost Continent to level up. Having confirmed his intentions, Scarlet no longer paid attention to Annie, took Seville and went home. She wanted to announce this good news to everyone immediately and right away. Behind her, faintly there was the sound of stomping and pleading. Scarlet, stop. I haven't finished speaking. But it was just faint. 10 minutes later, sitting into the flying ship, guilty Seville took a peek at Scarlet's expression. There wasn't much change, but her mood seemed better than when they came, the corners of her mouth lifting from time to time. Obviously a good thing. Seville, however, felt increasingly oppressed. She frowned, pressed her lips tight, hesitated for a long time, still chose to speak up. Scarlet, didn't you leave? Scarlet glanced at her upon hearing this. Who said I left? Indeed, no one said. But when does Scarlet ever give proper explanations? She often acts on whims and she's used to it. Seville furrowed her brow again, said in a soft voice, I came out of the fitting room and didn't see you. Scarlet saw Seville with lowered eyes and a hurt expression. Ever since seeing her, her brows have been furrowed frequently, looking like she has a lot on her mind, not knowing what she's worried about. This situation is best for catching someone off guard. Scarlet stuffed the sunflowers in her hand into Seville's arms and said, I went to buy you flowers. She opened the light brain, called up the memory of her conversation with the half-orc and played it for Seville to see. In the picture, Scarlet said to the half-orc, who was over 2 meters tall, I'll go check downstairs. If my beast husband comes out, you want him to wait for me here a moment, I'll be back soon. After reading, Seville was stunned, looked at the sunflower in her arms, then looked at Scarlet with a serious face, her heart tingling and numb, beating a bit fast. Memory cannot be fake. Scarlet did not abandon her and earnestly explained to her. In the past, how would she dare to think of this? But now Scarlet indeed did so. Seville hugged the flowers in her arms tightly, the tip of her nose slightly sore, tears welling up in her eyes. Why give me flowers? No one has ever given her flowers. She actually really likes flowers. In the court of Algacin, her room is adjacent to the flower room. Every time I swim, I can see a vast sea of flowers swaying in the wind. She loves it so much. Could it be that Scarlet specifically asked around? This question made Scarlet a bit troubled. The flowers were bought on a whim, and giving them to her was also said casually. But seeing Seville's pitiful little expression gradually turn into being moved, Scarlet decided to make one last push. Shamelessly, she held Seville's hand and said with deep affection, because these flowers are very pretty. And they match you perfectly. I noticed them at first sight. Also, your room is too empty. Putting some flowers in will make it more beautiful. The moment her last syllable fell, Scarlet's tone shifted, carrying a hint of melancholy. I don't know if you like them, I like them. Seville's eyes were bright and resolute, a faint blush rising on her cheeks. Completely ignoring Scarlet and buying a pot of flowers, the whole person was in the excitement of being valued. Didi detected that the male had developed affection for the host. Affection value increased by 10,000. Affection value increased by 20,000. Scarlet's eyes lit up. Holy shit, so much. More than 100 times the affection value of random passers A, B, C, D. Indeed, one's own man is the best. 10 minutes later at Helda Palace, Scarlet and Seville exited the flying ship. That group of interstellar reporters were still waiting outside. Seeing their figures, they swarmed over like a hive of bees, flashlights going off nonstop. This time Scarlet did not stop. Holding Seville's hand, quickly entered Helda Palace. The reporters who missed the scoop were in a chorus of lament. But immediately after, several flying ships landed in front of them. The ships were plastered with labels of major merchants. All without exception were men's clothing brands. Countless half-beasts came out of the flying ships carrying shopping bags of major brands. They were sent into Herta Palace like flowing water. These reporters were all professionals. Seeing they couldn't get a shot of the person, they quickly shifted their focus. Their cameras aimed at the half-beasts and snapped wildly. 1 minute later, Starnet trending number 1. Scarlett spent a fortune to shatter rumors, earning a smile from her beast husband. With accompanying picture, Scarlett and her beast husband interlocked their 10 fingers. The beast husband followed behind, shyly smiling. And the half-orcs who parked the shopping mall flying ships and held shopping bags in front of Herta Palace entered Herta Palace, interspersed with a few photos of Scarlett and Seville shopping together at the mall. The bright and extraordinary Scarlett looked at her elegant and handsome beast husband. Her clear eyes were like autumn water with tender feelings flowing like a gentle stream. No matter how you look at the scene, it's so warm. Not at all full of aggression as mentioned online, he clearly likes her very much. The deep love in his eyes almost overflowed. Annie, who was drinking tea to calm down at the mall, saw the trending topic and became furious. Took off her wristband and smashed it on the ground. Roared, "Fuck it, he spends all my money. How did these interstellar journalists take photos? Yet there's no trace of her, the money, all that money was spent by her." At the same time, on the other side, Scarlett, sitting in the restaurant, looked at today's hot search with satisfaction, her eyes slightly curved. A mix of smile and mischief, opened her optical brain and switched to a secondary account. Transferred 100,000 star coins each to several interstellar journalists who followed her today. And also transferred 50,000 each to the marketing accounts that were guiding the narrative. Under the hot search, Scarlett is a professional at marketing. Otherwise, all those years of gossip in her past life would have been wasted. After the transfers, Scarlett ordered the servants to serve the dishes. The beast husbands also took their seats at the same time. Seville changed into a brightly colored shirt. Lowering his head silently, he chose the seat closest to Scarlett and sat down. The other 3 chose the farthest seats. Riley cast a meaningful glance at Seville, seeing that Seville's eyes were glued to Scarlett. When Scarlett looked at him, he quickly looked away. His cheeks slightly flushed, Riley's brow twitched, uncertainly withdrawing his gaze without speaking. After they were seated, Scarlett announced loudly, "I've decided to participate in this year's resource competition." As soon as the words fell, someone immediately laughed out loud, a snort. In the quiet restaurant, it was especially jarring. Scarlett raised an eyebrow, glanced sideways. A faint smile rose in her light golden pupils. "What's the matter?" Knowing that they had to participate in the competition, laughed out loud in joy? Scarlett asked Icano with a smile, her tone neither warm nor cold. Icano raised an eyebrow. His handsome face instantly gained a touch of unrestrainedness. "Yes, to happy." Overjoyed. He stared fixedly at Scarlett for a few seconds, then, "Shouldn't your highness be saying that you need us to do something? Like serving in bed tonight to boost your mental power?" As soon as these words were spoken, the already overly calm atmosphere immediately fell into a deathly stillness. No one believed that Scarlett would coexist peacefully with them, let alone divorce. They had always remained vigilant in their hearts. The level restrictions of the resource competition were well known. Scarlett was frank. To participate, you must improve your mental strength. How could the delicate and noble imperial princess go with them to the lost continent and suffer? Then we can only have them contribute their mental strength. Anyway, it's not like she hasn't done this before. Back then, Holst was really messed up by Scarlett. It took half a year to recover. Scarlett patiently listened to Icano's words, then let out a snort, laughing even louder than Icano. The mocking tone even sharper. "Relax, I am not interested in you. People who are about to get divorced. Better keep your chastity well. I don't care about front or back. After all, chastity is a man's best dowry. When the time comes, you can marry other females. If I can't be the main husband, being a mistress is not bad either." Scarlett. Icano slammed the table and stood up, aggressively. The murderous intent in his eyes instantly burst out. Stared at Scarlett until she was sweating all over. She was scared to death inside. But her mouth was very tough. "What? Want to kill me? Don't you forget. You are still my beast husband. If I die, you have to die too." The next second, he glanced at the others, his eyes fierce. "And they will die together." This statement served as a reminder to everyone, although they hated Scarlett. But not enough to be buried with her. Besides, they had other ways to kill Scarlett, no need to rush. Riley pressed down on Icano's hand with bulging veins. "Icano, do not be rude to the princess." Zico did not speak. But his gaze also fell on Icano, meaning very clearly, do not act impulsively, disrupt their plan. Scarlett saw that everyone was trying to calm things down and she breathed a sigh of relief. Her tone softened. "I am the Empire's princess. A word once spoken cannot be taken back. If I say divorce, I will definitely divorce. I will not force you to do anything you are unwilling to do. I plan to go to the Lost Continent to level up, rest assured. You don't need to come with me. I will hire other males to lead the team myself. And I hope you will level up a lot during this time. Don't hold me back later. Having said that, Scarlett did not ask them for anything. Lift the silver food cover and start eating, ignoring them. Riley, Aikano, and Jiko secretly exchanged a glance. They all want to participate in the resource competition, which not only concerns themselves, but also concerns the families behind them. Every year, the top 5 families in the resource competition gain the Emperor's appreciation. Commoners can cross class boundaries and enter the imperial city. Nobles can be granted titles, blessing their descendants. Last year they did not participate and were severely criticized by the family elders. This year the opportunity is right in front of them. There is no reason to refuse. However, Riley and the others thought more deeply, caring more about whether Scarlett would die going to the Lost Continent. Scarlett's level is ridiculously low. She doesn't even have the ability to protect herself. The Lost Continent is full of unknown dangers. No one has fully explored it yet. And some people are forever buried there. Males easily lose themselves inside. Mental breakdown. By then, they wouldn't even know how Scarlett died. Still that phrase. They don't want to be buried with Scarlett. After confirming each other's thoughts, Riley looked at Scarlett. Your Highness, as your beast husbands, we have the duty to protect your safety, so saying. You want to go with me? What about them? Scarlett turned the tables, looking at the other 3. Aikano sneered. Jiko and Lang to people turned their heads away. Even taking one more look at Scarlett they found annoying. Only Seville happily said, I am willing. The scheme succeeds. Scarlett quietly raised an eyebrow, generously saying, fine. Since you insist on following, I have no reason to refuse. After all, we've been husband and wife for a year. We know each other well. Riley picked up chopsticks and while picking up food asked as if casually. Your Highness, what made you suddenly think of participating in the resource competition? Scarlett picked up a piece of beef, put it in her mouth and chewed vigorously, lying effortlessly. Last year, Sophia took first place and received the Empress's praise, putting me to shame. This year I want to take first place too. To put her to shame. Aikano added sarcastically, whether Princess Sophia takes first or not. Her status is higher than yours. You're too confident. The key to victory in the resource competition is the females. Subsequent mental soothing is necessary. Scarlett glared. Coldly said, arguing with this master. This month's living expenses will be halved. Aikano made two indifferent sounds. Retorted, when did we ever have living expenses? Scarlett opened her optical brain to take a look. And indeed had never given living expenses. How did they manage to live this year? Scarlett isn't stingy either. Put down her chopsticks. Transferred money one by one in front of everyone. While transferring, asked, now you have some. Happy? Lily 50,000, Seville 50,000, Jiko 25,000, Aikano 20,000. Their wristbands rang with transfer notification sounds one after another. Aikano listened to the amount sounds and laughed, happy, extremely happy. Scarlett looked at him. Her petal-like lips bloomed into a smile. Her beautiful face suddenly became like a midsummer rose, intensely radiant and dazzling to the eyes. You're happy, that's all. Aikano was stunned, his brows furrowed sharply. His handsome face showed a ferocious expression. Without any explanation, he glared at Scarlett, stood up, didn't even eat, and went straight back to his room. Scarlett thought Aikano was a bit inexplicable and didn't bother with him. Now the most important thing for her was to level up. She had agreed with everyone to go to the Lost Continent in 2 days. Once they enter the Lost Continent, they might stay for 3 to 5 days or more just in case. They needed to prepare living supplies and potions in advance. She just happened to learn some relevant knowledge, returning to the dormitory. Scarlett didn't forget about the affection value matter. Opening the shop, there was something. A small tent. Clicking to see the tent introduction, it was a harmless tent. Can withstand 10 attacks above a level. Ignores attacks below a level with this tent. She can safely level up in the low-level areas of the Lost Continent. Without worrying about mutated monsters approaching, Scarlett waved her hand. Bye. Finally having a hint of cheating glory, Scarlett tasted the sweetness. Instructed Lilia to move all the flowers in the greenhouse to Seville's room. Lilia was a bit confused but still did as told. 10 minutes later, pots of bright flowers were moved into the room. Seville was overwhelmed by the favor. Keep confirming to Lilia, is this for me, all for me? Lilia bowed and replied, yes, your highness said you like flowers. Specially ordered us to send these flowers to your room. And also said to change them weekly to keep the flowers fresh. Seville's nose tinged slightly. The corners of her eyes reddened, moved to tears. Scarlett actually valued her so much, especially inquired about her hobbies, decorated her room, and bought her so many beautiful clothes. Scarlett, if you could always be this good to me, etc., moved to the extreme. Seville suddenly remembered one thing. The money for buying clothes was borrowed from Anne, she had to repay. After sending Lilia off, she quickly contacted the Empress mother. But she forgot one thing. Her and Scarlett's accounts are linked. So, in the middle of the night, the wristband vibrated. Scarlett, besides gaining 50,000 points of affection value, also received a transfer message. The Queen of Algarson has transferred 10 million star coins to you. Scarlett rubbed her sleepy eyes, stared at the transfer message for a long time and nodded silently. Indeed, being good to your husband brings wealth. My mother-in-law, whom I have never met, please be sure to transfer more money. I will work hard to be good to Seville. On the other side, Seville looked at the account balance that still only had 50,000 star coins. Anxiously pacing in circles, the Empress mother transferred the money wrong, transferred it to Scarlett. And under the same starry sky, Princess Anne waited all night. Did not receive Seville's double repayment. She sat by the window, worried, holding a pot of sunflowers, constantly plucking petals. She will repay me, she won't repay me, she will repay me, she won't repay me, until dawn. Then, with two big dark circles under her eyes, she went to Hulda Palace to visit Scarlett. At that time, Scarlett was having breakfast in the dining room with her four-beast husbands. After taking 2 bites of a sandwich, not yet swallowed, Lilia reported. Princess Anne came to visit. Hearing this news, the first to react was Seville. The dining knife in his hand clattered onto the bone china plate, attracting everyone's attention. Seville lowered his head, not daring to look directly into Scarlett's eyes. Scarlett glanced at his guilty expression, immediately understood the reason, pursed her lips and said nothing, followed Lilia to the reception room. Seville noticed the concerned looks from the others, so he told the whole story of what happened yesterday, hoping everyone could help him decide whether to tell Scarlett to take back the money and return it to Princess Anne, or ask the Empress for another sum of money. Icono said coldly, telling Scarlett is like asking for death. Scarlett's nature is jealous and vicious. If Seville has contact with Anne, she will definitely go crazy. Scarlett has extremely strong possessiveness, although she doesn't like us. She also doesn't allow us to have contact with females. Once discovered, he will be furious, thinking that we are indiscreet. Riley said, you forgot. Our account and Scarlett's account are interconnected. No matter how many times others transfer money to us, it will all flow into Scarlett's account, rather than waiting for her to discover it. It's better to tell her proactively. Moreover, Riley looked at Seville, a gentle gaze surging with a dark light, exuding a calming power. Scarlett has become better, hasn't she? Trust me, if you confess to her, she will understand. Although Seville was afraid, under Riley's gaze, he gradually relaxed his mind, believing his words. All right, I will confess to Scarlett. The moment Seville's figure disappeared from the restaurant, Icono glanced at Riley. What did you just do to him, Riley? You are harming Seville. I did not harm him, Riley smiled. The table knife cut into the beautifully plated runny egg. The orange runny yolk flowed out. He spent a day with Scarlett. You all saw how Scarlett treated him. If he tells Scarlett about what we are going to do, everyone knows what the result will be. There cannot be a traitor among us. So you sent Seville to his death? Icono narrowed his eyes. His narrow fox-like eyes revealed a sharp edge. No. Riley calmly ate the runny egg garnished with rosemary and said slowly, I am using him to test how good Scarlett can actually get. Don't worry, he won't die. On the other side, the magnificent reception hall. Cousin, what business brings you here today? Scarlett walked into the reception hall, smoothed her skirt, and sat on the sofa diagonally opposite Annie, a smile in the corners of her eyes. Her fair little face bright and gentle, falling into Annie's eyes, causing her raised chin to retract a bit. Annie pursed the corner of her mouth and said, I came to see you. Scarlett let out an "oh," raised her eyebrow slightly, her gaze very aggressive. Just to see me? I thought you came to find Seville. Scarlett knew Annie's purpose, didn't plan to tease her too long. Seeing her looking insincere, pulling the corners of his mouth, he smiled and said, all right. Seeing as you're so thoughtful, I'll reimburse the money from yesterday's bill. 5 million isn't a small amount. Scarlett didn't intend to take advantage of this. As soon as she finished speaking, she transferred the 5 million over. The moment the transfer notification sounded, Anne was stunned, her big eyes staring blankly at Scarlett, taking a long time to come back to her senses. Her pretty little face still carrying a hint of daze, she added in a confused manner, saying she would pay me back double. It wasn't that she was pushing her luck, it was that she really hadn't reacted yet. Seville, hiding on the side, saw black before his eyes. His heart directly jumped to his throat, even more afraid to come out and admit his mistake. And he shrank his body further inside. Scarlet heard double slowly lifted her eyelids. Meeting Annie's clear eyes, a flash of inspiration struck. Understanding the meaning of that 10 million, the light in her eyes shattered. Annie saw Scarlet's face wasn't looking too good and thought Scarlet was doubting her. To prove she wasn't lying, she opened her optical brain and played the memory. Was Scarlet watching? No. She was still heartbroken over that 10 million. It only passed through her account and couldn't stay. Her heart felt sour and cold. Scarlet let out a long breath, took a look at her own account balance. The first digit of the 9-digit number was still 7. Finally gaining some comfort, she reluctantly opened Annie's account. Another 5 million has been transferred over. This time Annie is not dazed, but shocked. No, today's Scarlet is just too agreeable. Happiness comes too suddenly. She even thinks Scarlet has gone crazy, taking a sneaky glance at Scarlet, still so beautiful. Just that her eyes lack the ruthless malice that disregards others' lives. This relaxes Annie's tense nerves a lot. She tries to calm the chaotic thoughts inside, restoring the princess's composure. Scarlet, this extra 5 million is what I deserve. Of course I won't get it for nothing. She takes out a golden pearl from her bag, places it on the coffee table. Chin raised, aren't you going to participate in the resource competition? This pearl can save your life, it's yours. Originally she wanted to use this pearl to first be polite and then resort to force. Now Scarlet voluntarily returns her money, making her preparations useless. But she is not a person who takes advantage, so she makes an equivalent exchange. A pearl can save a life. So magical? Scarlet curiously picked up that pearl the size of a baby's fist. No different from ordinary pearls, just bigger. Scarlet looked up, just about to ask how this pearl can save a life. What she saw was Annie's back as she scurried away. Scarlet chuckled, helplessly shook her head, put away the pearl and stood up. Turned around to see Seville walking out from a corner. With red eyes, before she could approach, Seville fell to her knees with a thud. Sorry about that. Scarlet was speechless. Is she a flood dragon or fierce beast? On second thought, according to the original owner's previous behavioral logic. At this moment, in Seville's eyes, she is probably even more terrifying than a flood dragon or fierce beast. No wonder Seville knelt down. Scarlet was silent for a moment, not wanting the object she had finally conquered to return to its original position. She helped Seville up. With her fingertip, she poked his forehead and said coquettishly, You. From now on, you are not allowed to be so generous. Lend money and repay double. I can't afford it. Seville was stunned. The tears that had not yet fallen from the corners of his eyes were taken back. He said in astonishment, Scarlet, aren't you angry? I am angry. Scarlet wrinkled her nose. 5 million will be deducted from your living expenses. Deduct 10,000 per month. No. 20,000. Seville opened eyes wide, only deducting living expenses. Willing. I am willing. Seville nodded hastily. Scarlet, as long as you're not angry, it's fine. Let's go, eat. I haven't eaten enough. Scarlet took the opportunity to take his arm and walk towards the restaurant. At this moment, the electronic sound of the system sounded in her ear. Affection value plus 50000. The little episode of affection value plus 50000 and paying back money passed. Scarlet's plan to go to the lost continent was tightly arranged in full swing. She transferred 1 million to Icano, told him to prepare supplies and potions. Among the few, only Icano had been to the lost continent the most times. He knew best which things were needed. Icano received the money, lifted his eyes to look at her. Eyes are still sharp and prickly, but the prickles are noticeably fewer. This is a good start. As for Riley and Zico, rumor has it that they are dead. Scarlet took each of them out for a stroll and bought some daily necessities and clothes along the way. Of course, most were bought by Scarlet for herself. They were just an afterthought. Riley was very cooperative. Whatever Scarlet said, she did, and even stopped to give an interview to reporters, explaining the reason for her disappearance, which helped Scarlet quell a lot of speculation. Truly a professional artist. Lies come easily to her. Scarlet likes Zico, but Zico was cold throughout, with a pair of affectionate eyes. Yet the words she says can choke someone to death. For example, Scarlet, Lee is buying clothes for him at the shopping mall. Hired a few interstellar reporters to secretly photograph sweet moments. Who knew that Zico, who had been silent all along, suddenly said, Do you think I'm a kid like Seville? Just buying two beautiful clothes can make me follow your lead, I tell you. Don't waste your efforts. It almost broke her smile. Scarlet held back the urge to roll her eyes, maintaining a smile. The voice popped out between her teeth. Major Jiko. Do you mean you want to buy for beautiful clothes? I'll buy them for you right away. She pulled Jiko's hand and walked into the clothing store, avoiding the cameras. Satisfied, she rolled her eyes. The reputation of Xinhuang had improved under Scarlet's operation. The Empress sent a warm greeting back. Recall that day the Empress's dignified demeanor without anger. Scarlet replied very carefully. Finally, she mentioned the matter of her participating in the resource competition. The Empress heard it, and in her cold words finally mingled a trace of slightly warm praise. Scarlet, you've grown up. I am very pleased. Since you've grown up, you and your beast husband should consummate the marriage early to improve your spiritual power. Otherwise, I don't recommend you participate in the resource competition. You might easily die. The real old mother kindly greeted. Scarlet felt like a lump in her throat. Actually, Scarlet mentioned they and casually found an excuse to end the conversation. Resource competition to the Empress because she wanted the Empress to give her some life-saving items. That pearl Annie gave her that day, she looked it up online. It was indeed useful. After crushing it, it can block one fatal attack. It also let her know that there is such a thing as items in this world. But most of these items are bound, and a small portion is not circulating on the market. Only the dark web has them. The dark web is extremely mysterious. Scarlet can't find any relevant information, but it's okay, he knows who to find. Scarlet opens Annie's chat window. Annie baby, are you there? Want to make money? Annie sees Scarlet's private message, her spine feeling chilly. She really wants to say she's not there, but seeing the words make money, she couldn't resist and replied, I'm here the next day. Scarlet, with her for beast husbands, sets off on the road to the lost continent. The few of them board the airship. Aikano sat in the driver's seat, fastened his seatbelt, looked up at the rearview mirror, saw Scarlet sitting in the last row, looking at everything inside the ship with a fresh expression. Without a seatbelt on, his eyes moved, wanting to directly start the spaceship. The co-pilot Jiko saw his intention and reminded her, getting injured will affect us. Aikano raised an eyebrow, full of roguishness, smiled and said it's okay. Just a flesh wound as he spoke. He started the spaceship. The spaceship soared up and then rapidly descended. The huge weightlessness made Scarlet, who wasn't wearing a seatbelt, float and directly fall out. Careful, Riley, quick-eyed and quick-handed, reached out, but was still a step too late. Watching Scarlet fall into the open cockpit is killing me. Scarlet's head hits the seat. Her head is dizzy. Fortunately, the seat is leather. It greatly cushioned the impact. It didn't make Scarlet's head bleed. She holds her head and lifts it up. What meets the eye is Aikano's hand placed on the launch ship. She immediately guessed it was Aikano playing tricks. Scarlet, without saying a word, takes a bite on Aikano's hand, bites hard, even as her mouth is filled little by little with the taste of blood. She doesn't let go. A pair of light golden pupils glare fiercely at Aikano. In her eyes is an unyielding sharpness. I'll have your head. Aikano looks at Scarlet. The playful smile has unknowingly subsided. His hand is being bitten hard by Scarlet, but he doesn't feel pain. Deep in her eyes was all of Scarlet's unyielding gaze. Their eyes met, and he gradually fell into a daze. It felt as if something had stabbed his heart. A dense pain crept up. Scarlet, are you okay? Seville unbuckled his seatbelt, ran over, with Riley following closely behind. Your Highness, are you well? Hearing their voices, Scarlet's expression changed, collapsing into Seville's arms, rubbing the injured area, delicate and frowning. It hurts so much. My head hurts. There's still a taste of blood in her mouth. She spat out a mouthful of bloody foam. Disgusting. I need to rinse my mouth. Rinse? Seville didn't understand, but still responded repeatedly. Okay, I'll get you water. Sit back in your seat first. Fasten your seatbelt. Scarlet was helped away by Seville. Aikano's eyes went blank for a moment. He lowered his head and looked at his own hands. In the cockpit, various lights emitted from the ship's sterns intertwined. The light is not very clear, but the bloody bite marks are extremely clear. However, Aikano is not looking at this, but simply looking at his own hands. Are they that dirty? Scarlet is actually so disgusted. 30 seconds later, the jump ship successfully docked with the underground transmission device. The hatch opened. They arrived in another world. Slippery streets, humid air. Colorful neon lights run through the streets and alleys, obviously very dazzling, but gives a feeling of dull, low, lifeless, decadent. Scarlet walks out of the hatch. Black short boots stepped into a puddle. The splash, dirty water stained the shiny shoe surface, but she didn't mind. Only looked up at the sky surrounded by tall buildings. Although the world above was still clear and sunny, the sky here was gray and hazy. like the night about to fall interwoven with neon lights. Like an impenetrable net, trapping the vision of the common people below. Really oppressive. Riley stood beside Scarlet, following her gaze upward. Saw the same gray sky. She twitched the corner of her mouth, withdrew her gaze, fell on Scarlet's slightly pale side profile. Your Highness, want to go back? Go back. Why? Scarlet lowered her eyes. The dark light in her eyes was hidden under her thick eyelashes. She turned her head and asked Riley in confusion, looking at the garbage-strewn street. Your Highness, you're used to a privileged life. I'm afraid you won't like it here. And the environment in the Lost Continent is 100 times worse than here. Your Highness. It's not too late to regret, don't worry. I don't regret it. Scarlet stared at her. Her clear eyes calm but firm. Don't forget. Before I turned 16, this Highness lived in the slums. Riley smiled and said no more. Soon. Ikono drove a 5-seater off-road vehicle over. Scarlet looked up and down, left and right, and found nothing except the car. She asked Chico in the passenger seat. What about the supplies and medicine? She spent $1 million. How come I haven't seen a single hair? Ikono raised an eyebrow. His gaze passed over Chico's shoulder, touched Scarlet's face lightly like a dragonfly skimming water. Here is the slum area. Bringing a large amount of supplies will attract attention, wealth. The principle of not showing off applies to people of any social class. Scarlet understood instantly and didn't ask further. She opened the rear door and sat in. She buckled her seatbelt first, fastened the latch. When she looked up, she found Ikono watching her through the rearview mirror. Scarlet hadn't forgotten what happened on the flying ship. Although she had retaliated, she still felt unhappy inside. Immediately gave Ikono a sharp glance. To show her anger, Ikono imperceptibly curled the corner of his mouth. He withdrew his gaze with a half-smile, looked straight ahead, turned the steering wheel. Driving towards the Lost Continent, Seville sat next to Scarlet, quietly sniffing the fragrance on Scarlet. His gaze gradually fell. He really liked the scent on Scarlet. Like jasmine, elegant as orchid, distant, strong but not intense. Yet it seeped into his heart just right. This fragrance was not obvious. Only when close could one detect it. Riley and Scarlet sat together in the back seat, with Seville in between, but in the enclosed space. Scents always easily fill every corner, and that dry floral fragrance naturally drifted to her side. Outside the carriage was a world of dark clouds pressing down, filled with lingering mist and dampness. Inside the carriage, the floral scent was crisp, like crystal clear ice and snow floating amidst faint fragrance and sparse shadows. Refreshing yet intoxicating. The two utterly incompatible. Riley himself, however, thinking of Her Highness Scarlet wearing perfume today, after a few days of getting along. Scarlet has some understanding of the four-beast husbands in front of her. Seville is simple-minded, easy to deceive. Chico is aloof, speaks little. A bit of cold violence. Ikono is not old in age but has a big temper like a powder keg. Ignites at a touch. Lee is scheming, deep in mind, appears indifferent but is actually a smiling tiger. Very fitting the stereotype of a senator compared with Ikono. Scarlet thinks he is the fox, facing her probing question. Scarlet decides to use the greatest skill in human history, sincerity. She slightly raises her chin, with a hint of pride on her face, leans close to Lee's ear and says, "Friends, I suddenly realized that I can never change how others judge my appearance. I can only become confident. From that day on, I accepted it. I just look like this, full of acne scars, big nose, one eye big and one eye small, but that's okay. I am who I am. If you think I look handsome, it's a benefit I give you. If you think I look ugly, it's a punishment I give you. But I never believed that a girl would love all of me. Until I met a girl. At that time I had just put on the security guard uniform. I put on the security guard uniform. All my classmates looked at me. Fu Hang, yes. Fu Hang, yes. I looked at the female classmate and said, funny, right? She looked at me and said, I think you look handsome in whatever you wear. I said, sorry, woman. I might have hurt you too much. She immediately laughed. She laughed, and when she laughed, I said, this woman is damn sweet. I said, I will marry you. She looked at me. More than 10 years passed. Time flies. The last time I saw her, I asked her, I said, do you remember I told you these things? She said, I don't remember anymore. Don't be disgusting. But Fu Hang, you must remember to come home early. I'll be waiting for you at home. Here, I want to say something to you very seriously. More than 10 years. Everyone says I'm trash. But only you said I am a genius. You taught me the most important thing in life. That is, no matter your background, education, family background, as long as you dare to bravely be yourself, there will always be someone who loves you. Thank you.